You're in denial, the BBC's in denial.
Brexiteers insist that the BBC could not be more anti-Brexit. This weekend, Nigel Farage slammed Andrew Marr over what he called his ludicrous line of questioning.
This is absolutely ludicrous. I've never in my life seen a more ridiculous interview than this.
Farage had every reason to pick a fight with Marr, who seemed more interested in drawing him out on tricky areas like Putin, gun control and immigration than tackling the subject he wanted to talk about most, Brexit.
What is your question? What is the relevance of this?
I'm trying to work out who you are and where the Brexit Party, which wants to destroy the party system, is going.
You haven't asked about a single other member of the Brexit Party.
Farage wanted to push the conversation back onto more fertile political ground for him, namely Brexit and democracy.
Let's talk about democracy, let's talk about trust, let's talk about competence in politics.
Critics may call this a meltdown, but he'll have done little to damage his electoral prospects. In fact, he'll have delighted his supporters and potential voters by showing that he's a man who's prepared to fight for what he believes in. No politician loses votes these days by bashing the BBC, as it allows them to pose as champions of their people against the establishment. And so it was the same with Mr. Farage, who gleefully branded the corporation the enemy after their exchange. Farage's BBC bashing set Twitter alight, with fans delighting Martin Daubeny in his efforts to break the two-party system and even breaking the media. Meanwhile, James Delingpole called it a massive own goal. However, Farage says the Brexit Party will one day be about more than just Brexit. And that means sooner or later, he'll be having to answer those questions Marr was trying to put to him, and so many other ones on non-Brexit topic areas, just in the same way that any other political party leader would have to expect similar sorts of interrogation. Farage's irritation about being asked these things by Marr was understandable, because actually the BBC's star political interviewer was not being rabidly Remainery as he'd like to make out. Instead, he was just being awkward by asking about topics that, as the leader of the Brexit Party, he was not ready officially to answer, and hence he was really not willing to do so. As ever, in covering a divisive story like Brexit in a divided Britain, the BBC is damned if it does and damned if it doesn't.